What's up guys? Welcome to this video. In this video, I'll give you guys some tips to get Gladiator in the current World of Warcraft arena. In the current state of the game, it is really hard to achieve, mainly because of the low inflation, but I hope these tips will help you improve. The first tip I want to give you guys is recommend using macros. So you probably heard about macros before, and they are a PvP player's best friend. They're macros that allow you to do things faster than you'd be able to do them yourself. So to give you an example of this, I'll go into my macros. You can see here I have a disable macro. Disable is an ability that reduces movement speed of my target by 50%, and if I click it 2 times, it's going to root them. So we can see here in my focus macro that it says target equivalent to focus and then disable. So instead of it doing it to my main target, it's going to do it to my focus target. So if we'll take this dummy here and take him in focus, and then we go over to my main target here, we'll click my disable, it's going to disable my main target. But if I click my focus disable, which I have here, it's going to disable my off target here, which I have in focus. So instead of me clicking off, disabling and clicking back, I'm going to save that time and then instead directly disable my focus target. This is going to save you some time in arena, and every single millisecond in arena really matters, as it's all about fast-paced movement and fast-paced decision making. We can also see that with my paralysis. This is going to be a bigger spell, so it's going to be more visible for you. So I still have this in my focus. Here is my normal paralysis, and here's my focus paralysis. So if I do my Shift R, which is my focus paralysis, you can see it's going to due to this target, which was my forward target, instead of the target I'm currently on. Moving on to Arena 1, 2, and 3 macros. So this is just step up from focus macros. So usually you can start with your focus macros and then later upgrade yourself to Arena 1, 2, 3, or just incorporate a couple and then over time do it as many as feels good for you. I use Arena 1, 2, 3 macros for my disarm and my paralysis. So I have it here, Arena 1, 2, and 3 for my grapple weapon, which is my disarm. So here, instead of having to click off my main target or my focus target, if I only had my disable with my main and focus target, I can just click my button here for Arena 1, Arena 2, and my Arena 3 right there. Same with my paralysis. I have Arena 1, Arena 2, and Arena 3. So this exist means that if I'm not in Arena, it doesn't exist, so I can use this button outside of Arena. If you don't have this, you will not be able to click it outside of Arena. So this is just, a little tip. Is very beneficial. You also need this box just outside of it, or it doesn't work. But yeah, I don't use this for my kick or my disable, as they're buttons I need to get out instantly, especially my kick. So I played a little around with Arena 1, 2, 3 with my kick and disable, and it felt faster for me actually only having a focus kick and a focus disable than just a normal kick. But my paralysis and my disable seems to be more beneficial with it and seems to save me time. Let me show you some in-game examples here. In this clip, my healer is getting trained by the Demon Hunter and is almost dead. I want to CC him to stop the pressure. As you see, I'm currently targeting the mage and my focus target is the enemy healer. So instead of swapping target to the Demon Hunter, I use my paralysis Arena 2 macro and CC him instantly. If I only had a focus macro in this instance, I would have to swap target and therefore waste time and then be able to CC him. But because I have my Arena 1, 2, and 3 macros, I'm able to do it instantly without swapping targets, and I save time. The next thing we're going to be talking about is Party 1, 2, and 3 macros. So they're the same as Arena 1, 2, 3 macros, but instead they're for your party. As you see here to the left of my macro, I have my Vilfy, which is a heal. I have that for Party 1 and Party 2, so I can heal both my parties, or both the players in my party. The same I have with my Detox, so I can dispel both my party or members. And the last thing I have is for my Target's Loss, so I can give my healer or all other DPS speed when I need to. This can be very beneficial as a Windwalker standpoint, if I need to give my healer speed to get out of a route, or just speed to get out from being tunneled by DPS, or to my healer so he can go and get the fear or whatever it could be. They're very, very useful instead of having to click on the party here and then click either your heal, my dispel, or my tiger's lust. You can just do it instantly with a click of a button. The next tip I want to give you guys is targeting. A lot of you guys might still be clicking your targets, which does take a lot of time, as you do have to find a portrait and click on it. And if there's a lot of pets, like there's a lot of pet classes in the game currently, it can be a hard time. Instead of doing that, we can go to our options, key bindings, targeting, and here we can actually keybind some target macros or some target keybinds. Outside of Arena, I have Shift Tab, so it lets me go between my enemies here without having me to click on them. Inside Arena, I have it to tab, so it's the same thing, just with enemies. I also have it for my focus, 1, 2, and 3. As you see down here, I have it Control K, Control Y, Control U, which is the 3 buttons on my mouse. I have a Razor Nugget, so it's the first, second, and third button. You can also go a step further here and have it to target an enemy 1, 2, and 3. Because this, with tap targeting, especially as I have it set with nearest enemy, as you see here, target nearest enemy player, you can accidentally target the wrong player. Because example, if I want to target this guy, but these two are closer, it'll target these. So it's most optimal having Arena 1, 2, 3 targeting keybinds, but you can definitely just do with having the nearest enemy. And I use tab because it's right next to my WASD, so it's really fast to click. So yeah, it's very beneficial, and I definitely recommend you doing this over clicking your targets. The next thing I want to talk about is going to be add-ons. Add-ons is a huge advantage in PvP, and I really recommend you get them. The ones I recommend you get is firstly going to be big debuffs. This is going to cast this on the target frame. So again, this is just awareness that helps you with it. The next I want to recommend is going to be diminish. This is going to track your diminishing returns on your own portrait here. So you know when you're on stun DR, when you're not, when can you expect to be stunned, when you could be expect to be cloned, feared, and so on. So this is really good for tracking that. Next one I want to recommend is going to be Omni Bar here. Most of us know what Omnibar is, but if you don't, let me show you what it is. Here it is. Let me just test all. So this is just enemy cooldowns coming down here. The most important ones to track are the stuns as Kidney, Stormbolt, Lightning Lasso, the things that they usually do off DR. Same with Mighty Bash and so on. So these stuns, especially the Rogue's Kidney, they're gonna be wanting to use off DR, which is every 30 seconds. And with this, you can track it, so it's easier to pre-use your defensive abilities. Next one I recommend is gonna be Omni CD. This is gonna be a ability cooldown tracker for your teammates. So you can see whenever they have Trinket, Bubble, and so on. Again, it helps you with your awareness. And with diminishing returns, this also actually does it with your teammates. So you can see when they're on cooldown or when they're on DR or not. So you know when to, do I have to kick this poly? Do I not? Do I have to kick this clone? Do I not? Sometimes it's more worth to letting a poly go on than kicking it if it's a triple DR, for example. Okay, the next one I recommend is going to be S Arena here. You can also use Gladius. I can show you what it is if you don't know. So this are the portrait frames over here. They're just an upgrade from the Blizzard default, as they do also show the DR and the spellcast here. So again, helps you with awareness, and DR tracking is something you really want to have, as you don't want to DR stun, DR para, DR whatever most of the time. The next add-on I recommend you getting are Tell Me Whens or Weak Auras. You can also do both. I do that. Weak Auras are the most commonly known and are a huge benefactor for you. So I have a bunch of these. The ones I want to point out are Healer in CC. This notifies me every single time my healer is in CC, so I know if I have to pre-use or kite. Next one is Drink. This is also very beneficial, as I know when the enemy healer is drinking or not, so I can stop that. And then I have one for PvP cooldown announcement. So this is gonna announce all the big cooldowns that come that the enemies use. So whenever they pop a trinket, whatever it could be, I'm gonna see it here on the screen, so I know if I didn't realize from the game itself. So yeah, huge beneficial there. For tell me whens, I can show you what they look like by going in on the menu here. So these are debuffs on my target or buffs for me I can track. You can also do this with weak auras. I just found it easier to do with tell me when. So you can see here I track Skyreach, Skyreach Exhaustion, Pressure Point, Hit Combo, Ebonmite, and so on. So if I hit my target here, my Alpha Tiger is gonna come here, my crit is gonna come here, it's gonna say I have a free Vivify, my hit combo is here. If I swap target, this is gonna go away because it tracks how long for my debuff of the crit is on. If I click on this, it goes away. So yeah, these are also very good with your awareness, and they can just help you overall. The next tip will be VOD reviewing. VOD reviewing is super beneficial, and even if you don't know a lot about PP and you think, oh, it's gonna be hard for myself to point out the mistakes, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Most of the time, there's a lot of mistakes that you self, without any expertise, can pretty clearly point out and say, oh, I didn't wait for the DR here. Oh, I didn't give my healer speed here. Oh, I should have done this here. So whenever you do threes or twos, whichever, even solo shuffles, whichever bracket that you wanna get higher rating in, record your gameplay and VOD review it. Go through the whole thing, see what you're doing right, see what you're doing wrong, and I'll promise you that'll make you improve greatly. That was it for the video, boys. I do hope you enjoyed it, and I hope this video is going to help you improve in PvP. I stream over on Twitch. There'll be a link in the description. I also made a new YouTube channel called FaceAxe VOD. There'll also be a link in the description. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, boys.